You're going to have to find another place to live. I didn't know you were homosexual. Imagine hearing that. Imagine being denied housing just for who you love. Maybe you have experienced that. And the fact of the matter is that there's a lot of states in the United States who don't have protections against this kind of discrimination. Y'all, it has been a long 4 years. And finally, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are in office. Yes! Part of their campaign was ensuring equality and enforcing anti-discrimination, and they followed through with that, with signing executive orders in their first day in office. But what does it really mean? What does it say? In this video, I'm going to dive into that executive order and tell you what it means for we, the LGBTQ people. That news headline from the introduction, yeah, that's in Pennsylvania. That's where I live. We have these antiquated laws in place, and hopefully this executive order and just the administration in general as we progress through these years address all of these things. So the link to the website where I'm getting my information is going to be in the description below, and it reviews this executive order about anti-discrimination. Now, at the bottom of section 1, it states, "It is the policy of my administration to prevent and combat discrimination on the basis of gender identity or sexual orientation, and to fully enforce Title VII and other laws that prohibit discrimination on the basis of gender identity or sexual orientation. It is also the policy of my administration to address overlapping forms of discrimination." First off, I believe in all of that because have you seen the diversity in Joe Biden's cabinet, his administration? Oh my gosh, it's amazing. It is exactly what our country needs at such a time of upheaval. Love, not hate, people, come on. First question I have is, what are overlapping forms of discrimination? And that's really when someone represents two separate minorities. In fact, earlier in this section of the executive order, he mentions transgender Black Americans, which are extremely discriminated against. They represent a Black population, and they also represent a transgender population, both of which are not treated very equally in this country. The next thing he mentions is Title VII. What's that? It is the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which prohibits the discrimination for employment based on race, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity, you name it. Really, this is just a summation of what's already in place. So what are they actually gonna do? What are the actionable steps they're gonna take in order to enforce these new anti-discrimination policies? In the next section, he talks about working with the Attorney General and also forming different agencies, assigning those agencies different tasks to tackle certain parts of discrimination law. In other words, revamping and redoing those antiquated laws and making them more applicable to current day. Why wasn't this done sooner, you ask? Then, towards the end of the executive order, it says that these agencies have 100 days to submit a plan to take actionable steps to revamp, rewrite these policies that really desperately need changing. In truth, I wasn't planning on doing this video and reviewing this executive order, but while researching for another video, I felt this topic to be extremely pertinent. That's because on the website where I was doing my research about neurologists being unable to provide culturally sensitive care to LGBTQ patients, I came across this quote. "Some of the providers who identify as sexual or gender minorities reported their own fear of discrimination in the workplace." The whole point of this article was to encourage culturally sensitive care for neurologists towards their patients. But if the people who are working there feel discriminated against, how can we go forth and train people about this care? It's just tough. It's tough. Whether you've experienced discrimination in housing or in employment or elsewhere, what we do know is that in 100 days, we will have a much better actionable plan as to how we can combat these discriminations. Yes. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Kamala. And finally, a shameless plug. Tomorrow, January 23rd, I'm going live on YouTube at noon Eastern Standard Time, as I'm going to do the hashtag Mask Up Challenge, self-proclaimed, self-created challenge. I'm going to do 461 burpees while wearing a mask. 461 because Joe Biden is the 46th president and Kamala Harris is the first female VP, so 461, to support their mask mandate and to support them in office. I encourage you to tune in and watch it live. I'm going to try to do them in under 1 hour, so we'll see how that goes. And I also encourage you, if you can, to try this challenge yourself. Even if you can only do 46 burpees, maybe only 4.6 burpees. Get out there, get moving, and don't forget, wear a mask.